Good afternoon. My name is Jerry Patterson, and today I'd like to tell you a little bit about my model of communication, the dancer's model of communication. Picture this. You're at a wedding and you're watching the traditional father-daughter first dance. The bride has tears streaming down her face and her father has a big smile. What are you doing? Are you feeling all warm and fuzzy inside? Do you have a smile on your face, or are you crying right along with that bride? This is an example of the dancer's model of communication. In this video, I'd like to explain a little bit more about my model of communication, explain why it is an example of an interaction model of communication, and talk about why the feedback is nonverbal. In the dancer's model of communication, the sender would be the dancer and the audience would be the receiver. The dance itself is the message because it's being sent from the sender, the dancer, to the receiver, the audience. And how the audience reacts, whether they cheer, clap, and sometimes boo, is an example of the feedback. This is an interaction model of communication because this communication is two-sided. The sender is receiving feedback from the receiver by how they react, whether they cheer, whether they're silent, whether they clap, whether they boo, whether they give her a standing ovation. There's some sort of feedback being sent back to the sender. So it's an interaction model of communication. Usually the feedback received from the dancer's model of communication is nonverbal. Usually after the dance, the audience will clap or cheer, and sometimes the occasional standing ovation. And this is nonverbal communication for the most part, like the clapping and the cheering. You have to decide whether it's good or bad. There's no one really coming out and telling you if the reaction is good or bad. You got to figure it out on your own. So the normal type of communication there in my dancer's model of communication is nonverbal. To conclude this video, I'd like to hit over the main topics of my speech one more time. The point of the dancer's model of communication is to describe the communication between a dancer and the audience and the message being received, which is the dance. This is an example of an interaction model of communication, and the communication itself is normally nonverbal, the feedback. Thank you so much for watching my video, my speech, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again.